As Mark Twain famously observed, history may not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Slavery, segregation, and ice raids represent three distinct eras in American history, yet they reveal a disturbing, recurring pattern. What connects these disparate events is the consistent punishment of individuals for circumstances entirely beyond their control, be it the color of their skin or the conditions of their birth. Predictably, those in more privileged positions readily offer justifications. They cite crime rates, labeling individuals as rapists or welfare parasites. Yet beneath this euphemistic language, these decisions are frequently driven by simple prejudice or narrow economic self-interest. The rationalizations often sound plausible. Protection of private property, separate but equal enforcement of the law. However, as history has repeatedly demonstrated, what is legal is not always just and even less often effective. So what constitutes the core of this frustration, and how should we proceed? First, poor public order and similar common excuses are no more likely caused by immigrants than the problems Adolf Hitler attributed to Jews in Germany. If blame must be assigned, these issues are co-symptoms of a deeper problem: failing law enforcement. When the system is broken, the solution is to fix the system itself, through increased patrols and more police forces. The focus should be on punishing actual criminals, not preying on the vulnerable for public relations stunts. For instance, when ICE conducts raids, their targets are often Home Depot parking lots and other workplaces, rather than areas traditionally associated with criminal activity. This choice speaks volumes about the true underlying agenda. Second, consider today's immigration system. Legal immigration is deliberately slow and cumbersome to process, partly because this appeals to many who believe eliminating competition will simplify their lives. Simultaneously, entire sectors of the American economy depend on undocumented workers. Reflect on this contradiction. It's essentially a tug of war over immigration policy. Employers are, through their actions, effectively voting for more immigration. They hire individuals who cannot legally work here because they need workers that the current legal system fails to provide. Consequently, even with strict border enforcement, the immigrant population might remain roughly the same size. Economic pressure would necessitate the creation of a more efficient immigration system capable of supplying enough people to staff the economy, assuming, of course, that a smaller economy is not desired. While one could act with extreme pettiness, implementing measures to strip immigrants of access to public welfare, like medical, insurance, or voting rights, it is illogical to expect them to fuel the economy without being within the nation's borders. That said, let us move beyond hypotheticals and acknowledge the existing reality. The system has failed individuals who have established lives here. They possess rights vested by the Americans who hired and married them. Denying these rights and callously treating individuals based solely on their perceived caste is profoundly unjust, echoing past waves of exclusion. Just as with slavery and segregation, when the dust settles on history, those who stood on the wrong side will experience remorse and shame. The mechanisms of exclusion may evolve, but the underlying pattern persists. To uphold a civil and liberal society, vigilance is paramount. We must recognize these patterns as they emerge, not decades later when it is safe to condemn them. The question is not whether we will face these challenges again. We will. The true question is whether we can finally learn to break this cycle. We should and we can, starting by examining our own petty vices.